Let's move on now. You mentioned Robert Stephenson getting sent back down to Louisville. It's the second time getting sent down to the farm. He's looked impressive that first game. He had to tough it out that second game. He was the first starter to go 7 innings for this ball club this year. You said you would handle him in a little bit different way than the Reds are handling him right now, though.
Well, the whole thing has to do with service time and
right.
whether they control him for 6 years. And he's 8 days away from them controlling him for 6 years in the minors. So at the very least, he's going to get 5 this time if Alfredo Simon can't start. They would bring him up for that. But, you know, I think just from an interest standpoint and everything else, I think people would much rather see Robert Stephenson start than Alfredo Simon. You know, you see what Simon can do, and he was very effective 2 years ago for the Reds, but he's not going to be here next year. You know, he's a temporary fill. And they decided to do that and kind of kick the can down the road a bit with Stephenson and Cody Reed. And I see why they're doing it, but from a fan standpoint, I just think you have more interest in the young guys to go out there, and Stephenson was very impressive. It was a Colorado Rockies lineup that
can hit.
Yeah, you know, they went up and they beat the Cubs 2 of 3, and just a really good lineup, a lot of good left-handed hitters, and he worked his way through it very well. The one run he gave up came on a broken bat single, so it was a really impressive. And I always look at guys, he's up there, he's been up there twice under a lot of pressure, and his minor league numbers haven't been overwhelming, particularly at AAA. But when you come up and that much pressure's on you in a big league start in the big league park and all that, and you do well, that tells me a lot about the guy's character and whether he's ready. So far so good with him.
Mike, you agree?
Yeah, I agree completely. And I get what they're doing and why they're doing it, but it's just hard to stomach as a fan when you're like, you know, watching the Dan Straley's of the world and Tim Melvilles of the world and
you hate
Alfredo
the business
Simon.
side of it getting involved.
Exactly. And then you're like, wait a second, this is the single best start any Red starting pitcher has had all year, and now he's going back down to the minors. Like, it's just hard to wrap your head around and your heart around.